Ever wondered if you could 10x your productivity? A way to put your productivity on steroids. A way to get your efficiency through the roof and do other fun things that you genuinely enjoy doing. Well, there's something I'd like to introduce you to called the JEDI Master productivity. Now, I'm sure you're probably wondering, what the hell do I mean by JEDI Master productivity? I stumbled upon a really interesting meme that actually gave a good description of the different levels of productivity, basically for any skill in general. And it talks about 3 distinct levels. Now, the first level is the dum-dum. Now, if you happen to be on this skill, you probably do not know a lot about productivity or studying efficiently, and you find yourself doing the first thing that comes to mind. You could find yourself neglecting sleep. You could find yourself studying in really efficient ways that yield very little to no results. But because you do not know so much, you still do them anyway. Now, the next level are people who are more experienced than the dum-dums. Because if they are gained experience, they tend to fuss over little things that hold no consequence. They think about the best tactics, the best strategies, the best ways to do things, but they are so busy thinking about the best things that they end up doing nothing, which then leads us to the next level of productivity. Now, these are the JEDI Masters. Now, a really interesting feature about the JEDI Master is that they actually are really similar to the dum-dums. They are more focused on doing, but the main difference between the JEDI Master and the rest is that they produce results. And in this video, I'll be sharing with you ways on how you can attain JEDI Master productivity. And before we continue, I would like to share some words of wisdom from Master Yoda.
Try not. Do. Or do not. There is no try.
Now, the first feature of a JEDI Master is that they do not overcomplicate things. They focus on simplicity. They focus on the fundamentals of productivity. Fundamentals like the 80-20 rule, like the law of forced efficiency. And if you do not know what the law of forced efficiency is, it basically states that there is never enough time to do everything, but there is enough time to do the most important things. JEDI Masters have a really high level of clarity on what is truly important. JEDI Masters always ask themselves the forcing question. Now, this concept of the forcing question actually derived it from the book The One Thing by Gary Keller, and this question goes like this: what is the one thing I can do such that by doing it everything else becomes easier or unnecessary? Another feature of JEDI Masters is that they iterate. Now, what do I mean by this? They basically try out new ways to improve their current results. They're not stuck in tradition. They're not static individuals. They are actually very dynamic in finding out ways to make things better than they currently are. Now, a good way to actually do this, which I do personally, is through something called growth journaling. Now, every morning what I basically do is that I pick a particular aspect of my life that I want to improve and write every single thing that I can think about in that aspect of my life. The process of actually writing down these things forces me to think in ways that I would not think if I were just left to my own devices looking at the ceiling pondering. Now, what writing does to you is that it forces you to look at your thought processes objectively because you are actually reading it and it's not abstract in your head somewhere. And the main benefits that I've actually gotten from growth journaling is that after a growth journaling session, the level of clarity I get in that aspect of my life actually increases. And the thing is that when your level of clarity increases in an area of your life, you are actually able to see better ways on tackling problems that you didn't know existed before. And there's a really interesting quote I heard from Sean Cannell which goes like this: little tweaks can actually lead to great peaks. A little change that you notice can actually lead to you discovering something that can literally 10x or even quadruple x your productivity and efficiency in that area of life. Which leads us to the next feature. JEDI Masters are results oriented. To drive this point home, I would like to share with you a quote from Lord Kelvin which goes like this: if you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. JEDI Masters are objective about the results they get. Take for example, if you're a student, a good way to be objective in how you study is actually measuring the amount of things you study in a particular amount of time. A personal story which I like to share is when I wanted to try out listening to music while studying, because I went online and I saw some really good reviews about how listening to music can actually help improve your studying. And when I tried it, I actually did feel good while reading, but I decided to try to look at it from a more objective lens. I actually timed myself while listening to music, and after I finished a study session, I actually decided to look at how much I actually covered in comparison to when I studied without music. And what I discovered was that studying without music was actually a whole lot more efficient for me because I covered a whole lot more ground compared to studying with music. Now, if I had just gone by the vibes of I feel good while studying with music, I would not have discovered that I actually do better in silence. I mean, this is just a personal example, but I mean, it may work differently for you. That's why it's really important that you focus on being more objective than staying in your feelings. Now, another feature of JEDI Masters is that they have the right balance of consumption, and execution. Now, unlike the dum-dums that they just do and do not really know anything or consume anything to actually learn anything to improve, or the midwits that they consume so much that they end up not really executing anything that will help them to improve, the Jedi Masters are basically in the Goldilocks spot. They are in just the right spot. They have found a way to balance consumption, which is gaining new knowledge, and execution, applying what they learn. And what I've discovered from observing other Jedi Masters of productivity is that they tend to lean towards execution more than consumption, because there are a lot of things you would learn doing a thing than just reading about a thing or watching the YouTube video about a thing. Which then leads us to the next feature. Jedi Masters stack the odds in their favor. Now, what do I mean by this? Unlike the dum-dums or the midwits, Jedi Masters have found a way to optimize their environment to actually help them get to peak levels of productivity. Now, optimizing your environment basically means optimizing both your physical environment and your online environment. Now, for your physical environment, most times working in spaces that are a bit disorganized can lead to many distractions when you are actually carrying out important work. While for your online environment, working in an environment that easily leads to distractions like WhatsApp notifications, Facebook buzzes, and one of the main reasons why distractions are really detrimental to your productivity is that they lead to something called context switching penalties. Now, a context switching penalty is basically the time taken for you to get back to your initial level of focus before you got distracted. Now, the thing is that within this time period, your efficiency basically drops significantly, and a task that could take you an hour to complete, if you are consistently bombarded with distractions, can eventually inflate itself, take you 3 to 2 hours to complete. And guys, if you like this video, please don't forget to hit the like button that helps the algorithm. And if you enjoyed this video, I think you're gonna love this video about 7 small changes that you can do to improve your life forever. And like always, guys, remember to always keep it real. Bye, guys.